Thank y'all for coming out. This is a very important voting season for us, although we're not having an election here. This bond is very important to our city, not only our city, but the whole county. They're doing a lot of work around the county, and there's several different phases of things that need to be done. And I've been talking to Daryl about it off and on since last October, November, whenever we first heard about it. And he was nice enough to stay in touch with me, say, hey, get your stuff in. We're about to vote on this. We got Collier's Engineering and Mike got together, got a bridge study done on the bridge, and found out we're going to have to spend, several $100,000 just to repair that bridge. We got this turned in time, and now we're on the ballot. We need to promote this throughout everyone in the county. So Daryl was nice enough to come down. He's about to go on vacation on Friday, and he stepped in to do this for our community at the last minute. So thank you for coming, Daryl, and I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank all of you. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Daryl Apfel, your County Commissioner of Precinct 1, of which Clear Lake Shores is Precinct 1. So I'm your County Commissioner. I'm proud to be your County Commissioner, and I thank you for all the years of your support. We're here. We're already in the election cycle. Early voting started yesterday, the 22nd, and runs through I think Tuesday of next week, and then there's a break, and then Election Day is May the 3rd. I'm here to talk to you about the bond issue. To me, it's a very important bond, and one I would encourage you to strongly consider. It's $185 million. You will recall in 2017, we proposed a bond issue of which you all approved. It was about $100 million, and it was the same for roads, drainage, and capital improvements, facilities. That's the same, this bond. You have three propositions on the ballot. Proposition A is for roads, and it's a total of $74 million. Proposition B is $75 million, and that's for facilities. And Proposition 3 is $36 million, and it's for facilities. I want to go over those just briefly with you. First, Proposition A is, months ago we started talking to each of our 13 cities in the county and the mayors and the councils, asking them to identify roads that would be beneficial if they had bond money to repair or replace. You all identified through your council and through the mayor, Randy, the bridge coming in on the main entrance. In 2017, what we did was we took money on the proposition for roads and divided it on a pro rata basis to each of the cities, and then we just, and I think Clear Lake Shores got $400,000.
It was three something, yeah.
Yeah, and at that time we used the money, I think, to do
Drawer Road.
Yes, Drawer Road, and then we offered what we called $1 million match. If each of the cities could come up with $1 million of their own money, we would match that money to do different improvements. Some cities did that, some didn't. In the past month, I had gone around talking about this bond, saying that we were going to potentially do that. Well, as it turned out, each of the cities identified projects, and we just decided, you know what, rather than do the $1 million match, let's just give each of the cities the money that they requested. And again, you all requested $1.5 million, and the math worked out such that we were able to do it to give everybody basically, and it's kind of on a pro rata share, if you will. You can see League City's getting $11 million, and then of that bond, $25 million of it is for our St. Louis Pass bridge on the west end of Galveston that connects the county to Brazoria. So that's what Proposition A is. Roads are always needed. Roads are always an important part of anybody's budget. Secondly is Proposition B, which is $74 million, which is for 4 facilities. The most important and the biggest one is the Juvenile Justice Center. It was built in 1995. At the time, our county had a population of about 230, and it's at max capacity. It's $55 million of the $74 million. We have to expand it. We don't. It's kind of one of those necessary evils, but we're going to double it in size. Right now, if judges need to put juveniles, detain them or keep them overnight, we don't have the room. We don't have the room. So this is just one of those, again, necessaries that has to take place. The other 3 or 2 are somewhat elective. That's the mosquito control building. These are just buildings that are in a dilapidated state that need replacing, like we did in 2017, the Bay Cliff Annex, which is where my office is located. It was just in a dilapidated state. We took $4.5 million and rebuilt that building. So that's what the plan is with the mosquito control. It's $4.8 million. The West County building is similar. It's where the JP and Constable and Commissioner of Precinct 2 is housed. It's in a dilapidated state. The idea is we looked at both remodeling it versus replacing it, and we believed it was best to replace it. And then last is a Mainland Sheriff's Adult Probation. We have made an offer on the Office Depot at 1764 in Texas City with a 90-day due diligence period to see if this bond passes. Are y'all familiar with that? There by the in front of the CAD, the Central Appraisal District, and in front of the Coastal Health and Wellness out front. So that building would become a mid-county law enforcement center housing the Sheriff's Department and adult probation. Adult probation is currently partly in Texas City at the 2516 Texas Avenue in the old JP building there. But the new sheriff that just took office in January that you elected wants to move the fleet off of Galveston. With the hurricanes, all of the fleet is on the island, and it all has to be moved to the mainland. So it will become and we call that the mid-county right there, location-wise. It's kind of a very good central location, and we believe, at the sheriff's request and recommendations as well, that would be a good place for law enforcement to house and operate out of. So the jail will always be in Galveston because it's such a great facility and so big and so large, but he'll move a lot of his command staff to this new facility. It's about 20,000 square feet. So what's important to me is 3 of these projects, which is Juvenile Justice, West County, and the Sheriff's and Probation, are all law enforcement arm, a component with law enforcement arm. It's all dealing with public safety. It's not, we didn't do that to sell it. We did it because it just turns out it's a note that I think of, that those 3 buildings will be public safety, and that's what is mostly needed. Last but not least, is probably most important, is Prop C, which is drainage. Of that $36 million in drainage, you will see that all except about $3 million of it is here in the Bay Shore on the east side of the east side of the county, which I believe benefits League City, Dickinson, Kemah, Clear Lake Shores. It benefits us the most, hopefully, for other Harvey events, that if we can get the drainage going good to the bay over there, because it has been a real problem, it will benefit the drainage for all of the associated or contiguous cities connected to it. So those are the bonds, those are the projects, and the mayor has this. I think this came in your mail. I had not even seen it. I knew we had a mailer. I didn't know it was this big, but it identifies the projects on each of the cities and in each of the drainage projects. Y'all haven't seen it yet in your mail? You should get it. Well, you can also go to GalvestonCountyBonds.com, and it's interactive. You can click on Proposition A, and it will identify the projects. Then you can click on each project or each city, and it will identify the projects within the city.
We had our communication lady send that out to everybody the other day with that link on there. Isn't that right? Yeah. So you can just click on that link that she put out on our post, and it'll take you right to what he's talking about.
Now, all of this is fine and good and a wish list, if you will, but the whole reason we're really here, the mayor and I decided to do this, was because there's naysayers or opponents, if you'll call it that always, rightfully so, worry about the money. And so let's talk about the money. I will tell you that in the 14 years that this administration has been in office, and I've been there 9 of the last 14, we have cut the tax rate by 47%. And each year we've cut it below the no new revenue rate. What that means is, in the graph that you have attached to your packet, is that beginning in 2010, the tax rate was 63 cents per $100 of valuation. Today, it's 33 cents. That is real. That is solid, straight up, the way that the trend of what the Galveston County Commissioners Court's done over the last 14 years. That's, again, 63 cents per 100 down to 33 cents. Also, if you look at the next graph, that's the total debt. When this administration, and I say this administration, I'm talking about the current county judge and 4 commissioners, Hank Doogie being new, but the other 3 of us being there longer. When this administration took office, the debt was $343 million. Today, that debt's $143. That's 58% reduction in the total debt that Galveston County has had. And that's all the while, you will see in 17, that includes the $100 million in bonds that you all approved then. So in other words, from $343 million to $143 million, and in there we increased it by $100 million. So we've decreased it by $200 million and even added $100 million. So it's really, we decreased it by $300 million, if you will. I like to say, patting us on the back, and I don't. It's because of the conservatives and the good management of the folks that you elected and put into office. I only tell you that and show you those to show you that some people will say, oh, that's not the case, that my taxes are going to go up. A bit of me has to say, I'm a lawyer, so this is a double whammy, but you have to trust me. You trusted us in 2017. We told you taxes weren't going to go up when you approved it then, and the tax rate then was was 56 cents, and we've basically lowered it 17 cents since then. So I'm here to tell you your taxes are not going to go up again. Now, my wife wants to argue with me and say, well, that's smoke and mirrors, and because you continued the tax appraisal. She's mad, and I don't blame her. I'm mad too. I just got my 2025 appraisal, and she's like, the county's getting more money. And that's true. We are getting new rooftops, and we are, unfortunately, the CAD values are killing us, but the tax rate has continued to drop. And yes, even though we've dropped the tax rate by 33 cents, we have our budgeted income has risen because of the appraised values of the homes, partially. The other part is all of the continued fast growth. We are growing leaps and bounds in Galveston County, but I say that's how additionally we're able to cut the rates. I mean, I think y'all understand what I'm saying. I mean, while the rate is down, your CAD values do rise, but at least the amount you're paying, if they didn't go up, some of you may have had that, I'm not sure. Mine went up locally by 70,000, which is crazy. But if it had stayed the same between last year and this year, you would have paid less on your county tax bill than you did the year before. And that's for every year for the last 14 years. So we are doing our part at least to make it more palatable. I do say, I had a meeting with a guy yesterday, they want to blame the local government for the CAD. That is a state problem. And I sit there and say, and I'm proud of the work that Mays does and Terry Leo Wilson does, our state representative, but, spend more time, they're all into school vouchers, and the lieutenant governor is cutting the T8, the what do they call them, the stores that sell THC. I'm for all of that, I guess, but that doesn't help me and you. Let's fix the CAD problem. Fix the appraisal system. That's what needs fixing. But I'm just on a soapbox complaining along with you because it's a problem that's got to be fixed, and I don't know how we do it, but it's got to be fixed, and I don't understand why they don't see the seriousness of it. But maybe they do, and maybe they have planned to do it. And last year they did do a 10% cap, but they're just continuing to. You see in your tax bill, like the market value went up, whatever. In my case, 80,000, but the taxable value only goes up that 10%. But still, it's a problem. But anyway, be that as it may, I can assure you that we will continue to do our part to cut the tax rate below the new revenue rate every year, so long as services are not jeopardized. And we've been able, I've been in office 9 years, thanks to you all, we've been able to continue to cut the tax rate and continue to provide services. I'm talking law enforcement, I'm talking, jail, I'm talking courts, I'm talking parks, I'm talking roads, drainage. So our services have not been cut along with our tax rate. So, I think that it's wise to approve the bond, and I wish you would consider it and vote accordingly and spread to your friends and neighbors that we had this talk, and if they want to call or if they have questions or concerns, they can certainly reach out to me individually. And since this is recorded, I'll give my phone number. It's 409-770-4203. That's my cell phone, 24/7, that you can call me if you have a question about the bond. So, to that end, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them of me, or concerns or comments. Does that all make sense? Oh, you got a question?
Yeah, Thomas Holland, 207 East Shore Drive. First I got a comment about I'm very happy that the tax rate is going down, but what would have been nice to see here is an overlaying graph about how much you're bringing in, because it's not only because values are going up, it's probably also because you have more people in the county.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it would be nice to see those in conjunction with each other, because, it sounds almost too good to be true, but it's going down so much. Now, that said, the cash flow from taxes is enough to pay for this bond, and it's not going to preclude you from doing anything else?
That's correct.
And how long does a bond run?
Well, so the way it works is we don't take and just draw if it's approved, we don't just draw the 185 million. Engineering has to be done, drawings have to be done, all types of things have to be done before they ever break ground on the construction of the project. And so, let's take Clear Lake Shore's $1.5 million bridge at the entrance. I think some of that's already been done, but as you do it, we do it as like a draw request, if you will, for a construction project. In other words, if you all need $200,000 for engineers and drawings, then we will use the consultants to pay to sell $200,000 worth of bonds, so that we're not paying interest on this money
Until you need it.
Until you need it.
Oh, okay.
So that's how it's done.
Okay, so it doesn't go into escrow or anything like that. It's piecemeal as you go.
Right.
Okay.
And at the end, sometimes, there was a bond in 2010. There's like $5 million left over from that available to draw. We have not drawn it. I'm just saying, so that there could be money left over on the 185 million if it doesn't work out. Also, these projects have been identified and vetted, if you will, by the cities and the commissioners court. And so on the 2017 bond, I won't pick on Dickinson, but they were going to do California Avenue from 517 to 646, and they still haven't done it. So the money, we don't sell the bonds or use the money until the cities do what they say they're going to do.
Now, doing this bond, that would not preclude us from doing something equally as large in the future? It all depends on what that is.
Meaning another...
Okay, I'm thinking about a little bit further into the future here. I'm thinking about the flooding issues that we may get down here because of all of the water being channeled down Clear Creek. Is that totally separate, or is that the county get involved with that too?
Well, you have a lot of the water upstream from us is being handled through a lot of Harris County and BAHEP and HGAC. There's a lot of federal funding for that. We have been able to steer clear of spending your money on that. What we're trying to do is spend the money here in the county to divert the water or discharge the water out. So I don't know if I'm answering your question. I'm hoping that there's, because that funding is 50 million, 100 million and that's all federally funded money. So I'm hoping we never have to spend money on that. But sure, could there be a day that we need to do something? Yes, that could come. And I believe, based on our current state of affairs, you see from 17 to 25, we already absorbed and paid most of that bond back. So could we have gone out for a bond sooner? Yes. I think it was prudent to wait. And so I guess my point is, heaven forbid, if 4 years from now or 3 years from now we needed to do something because the funding that I'm speaking of doesn't come through or is not there or is not happening, I think we'd be poised and in a good position to do that.
Okay, so we are fiscally sound, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ronnie. There's no way we could have got through a meeting without you speaking, is there?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm in favor of the all three of the propositions, and I think the best thing that we all can do is, however you feel about it, get people out to vote on it, because I think it's a good chance it's going to pass, but you never know. So the people here, since we don't have an election locally, we've got to get people off the island to go vote, and we got to impress on them how important that is. And mine are kind of technical questions like, so we get the $1.5 million. Is the county going to manage the project?
Well,
Has that been decided?
what we do is yes, we like to say we partner. We don't just turn the money over and,
Right.
and let you do it.
I understand that, yeah.
Because it's, quote, our neck's on the line, we make sure, so yes, we somewhat manage the funds, yes. We hire an engineering firm
Okay.
to manage the bond funds. And again, it's back to the draw request type of thing. I mean, we let the cities,
Mm-hmm.
pick their engineers and do their own drawings and
Right.
workup, but our bond engineer is working and grading the papers, if you will, of
Right.
of the cities, and
So-
and then telling us it's okay. They're asking for 400,000.
Right.
You can give that draw.
Right. So that we could start right away after the bond's passed. We don't have to wait in line to get our project.
Many, we're ready to go. And
Okay.
many, we've been kind of working on this behind the scenes with all of the cities.
Right.
And all of the cities have done a great job of
Well, that'll be
getting
good.
their projects shovel ready. So we're close.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good because we've been working, on a pedestrian bridge. It's a lot more traffic now, a lot of people walking. So been working on that 10 or 15 years. So we'll be able to add that. And another question is probably a technical thing. There's a lot of utility lines right beside that bridge. I guess, does the utilities bear the cost of moving those, or do we know that answer to that question?
The California Avenue, that's been part of the holdup in Dickinson's defense, was waiting for the utility companies to move all those utilities.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that they have to do that. That's not part of the.
On 146, I know WCID had to move all their lines, and I saw over here when we did the Lazy Bend, they put in some really nice new lines out there. I don't know who paid for that.
They upgraded that quite a bit, and they raised it up from the
it's a
level
lot-
it was at before.
Those lines look like they're in bad condition too. So anyway, I fully support this, and I hope we can get this thing passed. And I encourage everybody to go out and vote.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Anybody else have any questions? No? All right, well, I appreciate you coming out and taking your time to do it. I know you're trying to get out of town here soon, so thanks for squeezing us in. This is very important, and I appreciate all your communication with me, sir. I do.
Yeah, no, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for always inquiring and being so interested for your citizens.
We're trying to do the right thing.
That's right.
All right?
I'll leave these here if y'all want to take them and put them somewhere.
Yeah, we'll definitely put them up here, and we'll even take some of them over to the office, and we'll have Teresa put something out. If there's anybody who wants any information, we'll have those over there for them to pick up.
And if y'all are gifted enough to figure out how to share that PowerPoint onto the recording, you're welcome, or however you do it, you're welcome to do that.
I think she's got the talent.
Good. Well, thank y'all for coming out and being interested.